the Facebook group, the Grief School. That's where it's going to be recorded. So if you want to leave now and come back for the recording, you can do that. But you have to be a member of the Grief School in order to get that recording. Okay. My name is Sharon Brubaker. I'm the grief specialist. I'm the owner of the Grief School. And I sit with women in community because grief was meant to be done in community. It wasn't meant to be done alone. We weren't meant to figure this out on our own. There's no way that we were left to try to figure this out. Like we're like walking around in the dark trying to find our way through. That's what it feels like to me. And there's no way we were meant to do that. Absolutely no way. Okay, everybody. It's the 27th, the day that I've been talking about for forever. And I'm so glad you're here. TikTok, I'm going to leave you on, but I'm not going to be answering comments. But please feel free to add anything. Thank you for this. She said, I've been feeling so alone, even being in church. I have a whole story about being in church and them not having the answers. And I just want you to know that. Okay, everybody. My name is Sharon Brubaker. I'm the grief specialist, the owner of the Grief School. And today we're preparing for Mother's Day. This is Sundays with Sharon. I do it for the holidays. I will also do for Father's Day. Father's Day, I will do it. I may do 4th of July. We'll have to see. But I know I'm going to be here for Father's Day. But we're starting with Mother's Day. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for being here. I want to start with honoring you as women, honoring you as mothers, honoring you as daughters, honoring you as wives, honoring you as sisters. All of the things I want you to know that I see you. If you're here this morning, there's a high probability that your heart is broken. It may be caused by death of your mother, either recent or long ago. It may be caused by the death of your child, either recent or long ago. It could be caused by a complicated or painful relationship with your mother or your child. It could be caused by the reality that your Mother's Day brings up every dream you ever had about your life and what your life was supposed to be. It could be caused by the fact that it turned out so different. Regardless of the cause of your broken heart, you know how you feel. And my guess is it's probably not good. I'm not going to tell you how you feel because that's not my job. I'm not going to tell you how you feel because you already know. And I'm not going to say I know how you feel because the truth is I don't. No one can feel your feelings but you. And neither does anyone else in this group know how you feel. At best, we can say, I remember what it felt like when my losses occurred. I remember what it felt like when it showed up at my door. I remember what it felt like for me. And even though you endured painful changes in your life story, in your grief story, I'm here to teach you the actions that can help you this Mother's Day. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, friends, and welcome. All of the efforts you've made to think your way through this grief have failed. Oh, I have some ideas. I can do this. I have ideas. I can do that. Every tool that we have used in this brain have failed us as where grief is concerned. Because I need you to know that the brain is the wrong tool for this job. 100%, we have to go through the heart. Grief is emotional. It is not intellectual. It cannot be fixed with a broken, with a brain. The broken heart needs to be fixed. And my friends, I didn't mean go get a hammer and fix the brokenness in the heart. You cannot get a hammer and nails and bring it back together. You've got to go after it. You've got to go after the brokenness in your heart. and that this is one of the things we're going after. Now, I say that I work with you in community and I help you in community. In community, it's all of us together working together. In the community, one of the things that I give out in the community is a ton of information on grief, death, and loss. In the grief school is where I actually help you move that pain. The thing that I do in the community the most is talk about the definition of grief. And that's where this is actually from the definition. The definition of grief is vast. There's little idiosyncrasies to grief that I can talk about all the time. And that's what this is. This is adding to the definition of grief. And today's subject on this definition of grief is Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming. And whether you're ready or not, you are going to feel Mother's Day. And I don't know how you're going to feel. It's all going to be different. And for many of us, that day doesn't feel like a celebration. It feels like a wound that is being reopened. It's not just another day for so many of us. It's not just a day on the calendar that I just look and say, oh, it's Mother's Day. It is a reminder. It's a reminder. A reminder of my mom that I miss. A reminder of the child that I lost. A reminder of the dream that didn't turn out the way that I hoped. I want you all to know this. You don't have to perform today. You don't have to paste a smile on your face. You don't have to paste a smile on your face and pretend for the world that you're okay. You don't have to shove your grief into a corner and pretend that it doesn't exist. Grievers have choices, and how we approach Mother's Day is a choice. Today is not about pretending. Today is about preparing. Today is about preparing. Preparing your heart to feel whatever it needs to feel. Preparing your heart to feel whatever it needs to feel. Today is about honoring you. Today is about honoring your grief. Today is about honoring your love, your humanity, and doing it without shame. You are a griever, and it is absolutely okay to grieve. It is okay to grieve on Mother's Day. It is okay to grieve on the days that lead up to Mother's Day. Thank you. Before we take a deeper dive, let's talk about where this Mother's Day actually began. This is actually quite interesting. I don't know if you know this. Did you know that Mother's Day was not created for flowers, for cards, for making your mothers feel amazing? Hallmark did not create Mother's Day. It is not about being picture perfect. Mother's Day was born out of a struggle of heartbreak and love. Hear me out. Mother's Day was born out of a struggle of heartbreak and love. You guys are going to love this. In 1858, a woman named Anne Revis Jarvis started Mother's Day work clubs. So she started these Mother's Day work clubs to help save mothers and children from deadly diseases. Anne Revis Jarvis started Mother's Day, and they were clubs. There would be mothers' clubs where she would teach them, and they would discuss how to keep our kids from dying from these diseases, how to show up. Then, that was in 1858. In 1870, after the Civil War, Julia Ward Howe, brokenhearted over the loss of her son in battle, called mothers everywhere to rise up for peace. She called the mothers to rise up after the Civil War so that they could honor their sons in 1870. Now we get to 1908. After losing her own mother, Anna Jarvis, so she's the mother of Anne Revis Jarvis, fought for a day to honor mothers. So she went after a celebration of mothers after wanting to honor her own mother. And in 1914, Mother's Day has only been around since 1914, President Wilson made it official. The second Sunday in May would be Mother's Day. The second Sunday in May. So it started out by grieving mothers who were losing their children. Hey, Christy. Hold on, Suzanne. I'm going to read that. It started out for mothers who were struggling and having heartbreak and love because their children were dying from diseases. Okay. In 1914, President Wilson made it official. Here's the final note to this. Anna Jarvis became devastated later because she watched the day turn to a commercial circus. She said it turned to a commercial circus, losing the sacredness that she fought so hard for. Mother's Day was never to be about things. It was always meant to be about love, loss, remembrance, and gratitude. You guys, how deep is that? Mother's Day was meant to be about, and it was 1914, and she wanted it to be about love. So the love that we have for our moms, it was for us to honor the loss. Who have we lost? We need to honor them. Remembrance. Remembering our person. Remembrance. Sorry, that took forever. And gratitude. Mother's Day was signed by President Wilson in 1908. It was to be about love, loss, honoring them, remembering them and honoring them, and gratitude for all of the things that they did for us. Is that what it is today? Or is it a card business? Have we turned Mother's Day into buying cards, celebrating them by buying the flowers, going to the restaurants? It has become so commercialized. This is for the mothers who have lost children and for the children that have lost their mothers. All right. Most of us are struggling with Mother's Day. I hope that helps you guys. Before we take a deep dive into Mother's Day, and I know that it hurts so bad that you want to talk about it, but one of the things that continually comes up in the pain for Mother's Day is the fear. The fear that hits us. The fear that hits us when we're anticipating going into Mother's Day. We get struck with this fear of celebrating Mother's Day without our mother, without our child. One of the things that I believe comes up a lot is I'm scared. What does it mean if I go into this Mother's Day without my mom? What happens to my heart? And one of the things I want to talk about first is the fear of celebrating without mom being here. Fear is not weakness. Fear isn't something you need to beat yourself up over. Fear is love's bodyguard. Fear is protecting you. It is absolutely protecting you because it knows that it hurts. Did you hear what I said? Fear is love's bodyguard. Fear is love's bodyguard. Ooh, look at that. I'm a big writer. I got to work on that. Fear is love's bodyguard. Fear shows up to protect your heart when it feels the most exposed. On a day like Mother's Day, on a day that reminds us, Mother's Day reminds us, what does it remind us of? It reminds us that I loved. It can also remind us that I hated her. Friends, you can have a relationship that was less than perfect with your mom and with your child. I'm using hate as a really strong word. I hated her actions. I hated the things she did. I hated the way she responded to me. I hated that she never showed up for me. Grief is the feeling of reaching out for someone who has always been there, only to discover when I need them one more time, they are no longer here. Grief is the feeling, I need her one more time and she's not here. Grief is the feeling of reaching out for someone who's never been here, only to discover I still need her and she ain't here. On Mother's Day, fear reminds us that we loved, that we lost, that this is going to hurt again. And that as humans, that is normal. It is normal and natural to grieve. And it is normal and natural to grieve on Mother's Day. Your love is saying to your mom, I'm doing everything I can just to survive. I'm doing everything I can just to be here. Okay, I have a question. And I just wanted in a one-word answer. When you think about Mother's Day, what is the first emotion that rises for you? Sadness, numbness, anger, or fear? Sadness, numbness, anger, or fear? What is the first emotion that arises for you? Sadness, numbness, anger, or fear? Why are we so scared of Mother's Day coming? Sadness, fear, numbness, sad. Thank you, ladies. Now, I also got sadness over here in the Facebook group. Now that we've honored fear for what it is, and we know what it is, let's talk about what it looks like around Mother's Day. A lot of sadness. Why are we scared of this day showing up for us? We're scared because we know that it's going to hurt. We're pre-grieving. We were talking about that in the TikTok group earlier. We're pre-grieving. We already know that we're going to be sad on that day, so we're pre-grieving. We know it's going to hurt, so I know it's going to hurt, so I'm just going to be hurting right now. Here's some of the things we're scared of and we're sad about. We're sad of being forgotten while the world posts smiley family pictures. Here's going to be social media. And there's going to be pictures. And the pictures are going to be of gifts, cards, meals, mother-daughters, family photos, right? We're scared of social media. We're scared of what people are going to put on social media. Because guess what I can't put right now? I can't put her today. I can't put him today. We're scared of what's going to show up on social media. Drea, I hope I'm saying that right. She said it feels like emotional overload. Yes. Laura says, I get mad at and angry at Mother's Day commercials and on TV and radio. Yes, because I say social media, but it's all the media. We're scared of being forgotten while the world posts smiley family photos. We're scared that if we let ourselves fall apart, we might not be able to put the pieces back together. If I allow myself to grieve, I'm not going to be able to pick myself up. If I allow myself to sit in this, I'm not going to be able to pick myself up. And sometimes we're even scared of the silence. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay home. But it's fearful to sit in silence all day. We're scared that no one will remember our grief. No one will remember our love. No one is going to remember how much I loved her, even after this loss. I'm going to go back to this again. Fear is not weakness. Fear is love still trying to protect what matters the most. Fear does not equal weakness. Fear equals protection. Fear is you protecting your heart. Fear is you protecting your broken heart. Okay. What's the one thing that you're afraid of might happen this Mother's Day? What's the one thing? I've talked about social media. I talked about pictures. You guys talk about emotional overload. What's the one thing that you're afraid of will happen this Mother's Day? Clay Chic, Mary says, what if it's what I'm afraid of? If I go into deep loss, I won't be able to recover. What if you don't allow the loss, Miss Mary? What if we don't allow the loss? What if we don't allow the grief on Mother's Day? You guys, that to me is scarier. Okay? The reason I keep picking this up is because it's giving me less and less room. What if we don't allow the loss on Mother's Day? Here's the calendar again. Trying to give you guys 7 days, but I can't do it. All right, here's the calendar. And Mother's Day is going to be the 11th. We're getting up to Mother's Day and we're starting to feel sad. We're feeling broken. We're starting to cry. All of these things are happening to us. But if you do not allow this pain to come in, if you don't allow some of the pain to be there, what's going to happen to you is this. It adds to this grief pain that's already there. It's going to add to the pain, and it's just going to fill that empty spot. If we don't allow the pain to start coming out, and it has to come out through here. The pain has to come out by talking about it, by saying what we need, by processing the pain, by knowing that Sunday is going to be hard, and really, really going through it. Suzanne has a great question here. What if the pain isn't what I expected? What if it isn't as bad as society says it's going to be? Great question. Okay, let's talk about where the pain is coming from. Here's where the pain is coming from. I'm just going to bring this over here. Pain. The pain is coming because we love so deeply. We loved deeply. And I got to put this in there. We also hate. And I have to put that in there because some people have a less than loved one relationship with their mom. A less than loved one. I'm not buying her a card. I would never buy my mom a card on Mother's Day. We never had a mother-daughter's relationship like that. That is also a grieving experience. That is also a grieving experience. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is precious. Pain is what rises when something precious was lost, broken, or unfinished. You guys, pain is about being something unfinished, something broken, and something lost. When we lose our relationship with our mom, that's a loss. When we lose our relationship with our best friend, it is a loss. Pain is what arises when something feels precious, lost, broken, or unfinished. You may not be grieving just your person. You may not be grieving just your mother. You could be grieving your relationship with your mom because it was so amazing and because she was your best friend. You could be grieving your relationship with your mom because she was a bitch and she totally got on your nerves. That's the truth. You might be grieving the dreams that you had for you and your mom, the relationship you wish you had, the relationship you never had. Pain is the love with nowhere left to go. Pain is love with nowhere left to go. If I always was able to give mom a card on Mother's Day, I was able to bring her a card, but now I can't. If I was always able to step in there with mom and be happy and excited for her, and now I have nowhere to take that love, that's where the pain, what happens to this pain? It has nowhere to go. What is the one thing that you are still carrying in your heart this year? What is the one thing, and you don't answer this on the live, just keep it for yourself. What's the one thing you're still carrying in your heart this year? All right. I've been alluding to this, but I really want to go into it. Some of our relationships are complicated. Some of our relationships are complicated. And some of these complicated relationships are still going to be grieved on Mother's Day. Not every story we carry is about our mother. Sometimes it's about our children. Sometimes it's filled with sweetness of our children. Sometimes it's filled with the anger that we carry. Sometimes it's filled with the guilt that is still there. Some of us carry silence. We feel distant from our person because they're no longer here. Some of us are still carrying the wounds of the past. And we feel like that area is never going to heal in our heart and in our life. You might be wondering for yourself, if I have a terrible relationship with my mom, am I still grieving? If my mom and I had a terrible, tumultuous relationship, am I still grieving? If my child and I hadn't spoken for 5 years, am I still going to grieve because I didn't like the decisions that that person made? And here's the answer. The answer is yes. We can grieve anyone, living or deceased. We can grieve anyone with a great relationship or a tumultuous relationship. It doesn't matter. It matters. But we don't have to put a label on it. We don't only grieve the ones that we love. Grief is a broken heart. It's the feeling of reaching out for someone who's never been there. It's the feelings in our heart. If I struggle with my child and we fought every day and my child was out on the street and my child was out on the street doing drugs, am I still going to grieve that child if it ended badly? If I still feel the pain of being mad at them, am I still going to grieve them? And the answer is yes. It is simple, but yes. Grief doesn't only show up for perfect love. Did y'all hear that? Grief doesn't show up just for perfect love. It doesn't show up for perfect love. I'm trying to write so fast. And I'm already a bad speller. Look at that. Okay. A lot of us think that we only grieve if our love was perfect. But I want you to raise your hand right now. I want you to raise your hand right now if your relationship with your person was perfect. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Was your relationship perfect? Were they the perfect person? Did you never have a fight with them? Did you never have an argument? Love everything that they did? Did you love it in the way that they did it? Hear me out. I know there's some mamas in here that lost babies that never got to walk on earth. That I know there are mamas in here that lost their precious children. I know that. But I want to know, if you actually lived with that person, was it perfect? And here's the other thing that we need to be careful of, that we don't go out to make them perfect, to make them the perfect person on earth. Because this is, and guys, I don't want to offend anybody, but this is what a lot of us do. We make out our person to be the perfect person on earth, and then that's the person we start grieving. That's the mom we start grieving. That's the child we start grieving. Grief doesn't show up just for perfect love stories. It doesn't. It shows up for all the stories. It shows up whether you loved, whether you lost hope, whether you lost connection, whether they lived or not, meaning a baby that may have died in utero. Grief is messy, it's ugly, and it's painful. You are allowed to grieve what was. You are allowed to grieve what never happened. There are so many areas that we are allowed to grieve in. And what was is one of those. I'm going to put reflection questions today. I'm going to put this lesson and reflection questions in the Facebook group, the Grief School. And some of the reflection questions are going to be this: what part of your relationship is still unfinished? Am I only grieving my person, or the dream of what once was? What forgiveness do I have for them? Is it still unfinished in my heart? So, here's the things that we grieve for Mother's Day. Here's the things that we grieve for Mother's Day. And why am I taking it off in this direction? Because I wanted to teach the lesson about Mother's Day before Erica gets here, so you guys understand. Grief is messy love. Grief is broken love. And grief is painful love. Why am I going here? Because I want to make sure you have not enshrined your mom or your child and made them the best person in the world that ever walked on earth, and that's the person who you're grieving this holiday. Grief is not a reward for perfect families only. We all are going to grieve. Grief is the proof of the connection. Even connections, even the ones that left marks on our soul, our spirit. Okay. Let's all take a deeper dive into who we are. Can everybody please get a pencil and paper? We're going to do a brain dump right now together. Hey, Monette. We're doing a brain dump. I want you all to grab a pencil and paper. And I want you, and if you're not doing that right now, if you're driving, that's okay. Come back to this. This is going to be stored in the Facebook group. You can come back to it. I want you to put your mom, your child, your husband's name right in the center of the brain dump. I want you to put your mother's name, your child's name right in the center of the paper. I want you to take a deep breath as we go into this brain dump. I want to look at everything that you guys are carrying into Mother's Day. What are you carrying with you going into the Mother's Day? You can write this down, or you can simply close your eyes and think about it. Don't close your eyes if you're driving, but think about it. What is the biggest fear that you have for Mother's Day this year? What is the biggest fear that you have for Mother's Day this year? What is the biggest fear? Fear. What is the biggest fear? What are you afraid will happen if you let yourself cry? If I let myself cry, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of if I let myself cry? What will happen if I don't cry? What happens if I don't cry? Does it mean I don't love her? What happens if you don't cry? What happens if you don't cry? What is my Mother's Day grief saying about me? What is this grief saying about me? I've been seeing cardinals the last 3 days. That's so funny you said that, Debbie. What is my grief saying about me? And I want you putting these answers all over the page. What is your grief saying about you? What do I believe this love says about me? What do I believe this love says about me? What does this love say? And in addition to that, what does this hate say? What does the fact that I have a less than loved one relationship with my mom, what is that saying? Who am I scared will not understand the pain? Who am I scared will not understand the pain? Who won't get it? Who? Who won't get this pain? Who needs to see my pain? Who do I feel needs to see my pain? Who needs to see this pain in order for it to become complete? That's a deep question. Who do I need to see this pain so that they can acknowledge it? Suzanne says, what if I don't get a card this year? What does that mean for me? What if I don't get a card? I'm saying card, but that also means flowers, dinner. What if I don't get celebrated? What if I don't get celebrated the way I always have? What memories do I fear will fade? What memories will fade? What do most people understand about my Mother's Day grief? What do they understand about my Mother's Day grief? What am I most proud of surviving this year? What did you survive this year? I answered the question. My business. What did you most proud of surviving this year? If love was leading me, if you were being led by love, college, someone said college. If you were being led by love, what would you do on Mother's Day? Hey, Fly Girl. If you were being led by love, what would you do on Mother's Day? If you're being led by love. If you did the brain dump live and you answered the questions, I want to know what you came up with. If there was anything profound for you, look over your entire brain dump. Also know that the brain dump will be in the Facebook group if you didn't get a chance. Okay, let's talk about Call My Son. I love that. Let's talk about what helps me cope. Grief doesn't only take from us. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Grief doesn't only take from us, it also gives us. I know that sounds crazy, but it also gives us. It doesn't just take. It doesn't just take our person. It doesn't just take our feelings. It doesn't just take our emotions. It can also teach us what we need. It serves a purpose. Debbie says my heart feels physically tired. I can only begin to imagine, because when we're pushing back and trying to resist, it feels painful. Grief can also teach us what we need. It can teach. Okay, what are the top 3 things that have helped you cope with your grief to today? What are the top 3 things? What are the top 3 things that have helped you cope? I don't know what they are for you. It might be crying. It might be talking. It might be social media. It might be books. It might be friends. It might be eating. It might be wine. It might be exercise. It might be TikTok. I don't know. It might be any of those. What are the top 3 things that have helped you cope? Is it taking a walk, singing a song, getting a hug from somebody, being with your safe person? What have been the top 3 things that have helped you cope so far? This is going to lead you into Mother's Day. We need to know what these 3 things are. Some of these, we think they're helpful, but they're not. Drinking too much wine is not helpful. Going to exercise instead of doing our grief work is not helpful. Eating food to excess is not helpful. Going on social media goes both ways. TikTok, both ways, right? Talking to a friend or being with a friend. Reading a book. Reading a grief book. Right? Or a poem book, something that calms my heart down. Crying absolutely works. Talking absolutely works. Today, we're honoring every kind of mother and every kind of loss. We honor mothers who have lost children. We honor children that have lost their mothers. We honor the ones that long to be mothers but never could. We honor the mothers that no one else ever saw and didn't honor. We honor the mothers that have survived, mothers and children that have survived painful, complicated relationships. A painful, complicated relationship is absolutely a grieving experience. Wherever you find yourself in this story, I want you to know you are seen and you belong here. You belong here today. So, we often talk about creating a plan. And one of the things we're going to be talking about next week with Erica is the plan. But today I wanted to do the education on Mother's Day and a broken heart. Today we were just talking about Mother's Day and a broken heart. I'm also going to put in that list there 20 things that we can do this Mother's Day. But I'm going to take a deeper dive into it next Sunday. Here are 20 ways to honor your mother, your child, your husband, yourself, and your heart. And Sandra, I don't know if you're still here, my love, but also your sister. Number 1, you don't have to celebrate the way everyone else does. Miss Debbie, who's a beautiful friend of mine, who we've been working together, wanted to know earlier, if you guys weren't here, she said, "Hey, Sharon, can I send my Mother's Day card to my brother? You know, the card that I would have sent to my mom." And I said, "Why don't you send the card to your brother of how important he is to you? Why don't we flip the head on Mother's Day if our mom is not here, if our child is not here?" One of the other things that I wrote down is celebrate your other children that are still living. Instead of waiting for them to come and celebrate you and you've lost a child, celebrate the children you still have living. You don't have to celebrate the way everyone else did. Hear me out. There are no There are no rules for how we have to celebrate. So here's just a few of the 20 that I'm going to leave in the list. You can light a candle in honor of your mother or your child. Someone here earlier said they're going to be sitting by the urn and just spending time with their child. Light a candle. Buy yourself flowers and put it next to the urn. Write your person a letter. Still buy the card. It is okay to buy the card. Visit a place you shared. Visit a place that you shared together. Go out and have their favorite chicken wings. And only eat the flats because that's all they loved. I love the flats. That's why I said that. Debbie, listen to this. It's on the list. Plant something beautiful. Plant something beautiful in honor of mom. Wear their favorite color. Wear their favorite shirt that they loved on you. Wear their shirt. Wear a pendant of theirs. Wear their cologne. And all of those things are private. That's just between you and them. You don't need to come out and say, this was Annie Joy's favorite color, and that's why I'm wearing it. I want everybody to know that I'm wearing this in honor of her. Say their name out loud. Do absolutely nothing at all. Do nothing at all is absolutely okay. There is no right or wrong way to honor your person. There's no right or wrong way. Look for the list of the other 20 things that I have that will be in the Facebook group tonight. The Facebook group is the Grief School, so you can join it. You can go to the live here in my in the profile, and you can find it there. Suzanne says, grief has given me clarity, a greater understanding of love, and the greatest gift of all. Sharon, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. I love you, my friend. Debbie says, I'll forget that I'm a mama too. No, and that's another thing, Debbie. And actually, since I said it, I actually am thinking about it. I'm not big on Mother's Day. I don't expect my kids to do anything, but I think this year I'm going to honor my kids. I think I'm going to go get a card and send each one of them a card and honor them. Celebrate yourself as a mom, as your mom would want you to do. Yes. I love that. Okay. Questions for creating your plan for Mother's Day. What part do you want to remember? I'll open it up. I love it, Flow Girl. I love when we text our person. What is the thing that you want to remember? And Flow Girl, even though Ian was your friend and he was a male, the fact that we're having a holiday can bring up some grief. What do I want to remember this year? What do I want to protect myself from? Guys, what part is going to be too hard? What part can you not handle? What boundaries will I honor this year? For myself, for my family members, for other friends around? What boundaries am I going to honor? How can I show love to myself and my person, my mother, my child, my grandmother? How can I show love to them? All right. I want to leave you guys with this, okay? Mother's Day is your love story. Mother's Day is your love story. Mother's Day is your love that looks like joy. What is your love story with your mom? What is your love story with your child? What do you want people to know about your love story? What do you want people to know that looks like joy for you? And sometimes love looks broken. Sometimes our love can look broken. It can look like a broken heart, and that's okay. It's okay if we're okay with it. We have to be okay with the fact that love looks like a broken heart. But real love survives. It survives the holidays. It's going to survive Mother's Day. My love is going to take me through this. Real love survives, and it survives everything. The pain, the comments, the stupid things people say, the way people treat us, it will survive. If you are hurting this Mother's Day, I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know that we're here for you. I want you to know that you are not broken, that you are a mother, that you are a daughter, that you're a son, that you're a child, that you're a woman that didn't have that baby. You are proof that love leaves a mark. You are proof that love leaves a mark. And even when people we love are no longer here, love is. Mother's Day is. This Mother's Day, I'm going to honor my grief. I'm going to honor my grief and my love by this Mother's Day. This is your final question. This Mother's Day, I will honor my grief. Look at what I said here. I'm going to honor my grief and my love for her, for him, my love. I'm going to do both by fill in the blank. You're going to, this Mother's Day, I will, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Honor, grief, and love by. This Mother's Day, I will honor my grief and love by, and fill in the blank. What are you going to do to honor your grief and love? What are you going to do to honor your person? What are you going to do for yourself that makes them feel so important? You, my friends, are amazing. You, my friends, are grieving. You are not broken. Okay. That's the end of lesson 1, Sundays with Sharon. My name is Sharon Brubaker. If this is your first time here, I'm a grief specialist. I'm the owner of the Grief School. I sit with women in community. This is the community. If you're seeing me live, you're in the community. I sit with women so they can feel supported, heard, and understood while they're on their grief journey. I teach the definition of grief in this community. I give you so much information in this community. In the Grief School is where I actually show you how to move beyond the pain of loss, where I actually show you how to move the pain out of your heart. That's what we do in the Grief School. This is the community. We call it the Grief Gang, and we're so glad that you guys are part of the Grief Gang. All right. Do you want to remind the mothers that have lost children about the video in the Facebook group? Oh, you mean the one of Erica and Corey? There is a thank you, Suzanne. I need you, Suzanne. There's a video in the Facebook group. It's pinned to the top. You'll see it. It's Erica and Corey. They are mothers that talk about the loss of a child and doing their grief work. Next Sunday on the 4th, same time, 8 a.m. on TikTok and 9 a.m. in the Facebook group. Expect next Sunday to go a little longer, but we're going to have a special guest, and that's Erica Honore. She is my sister. She is the mother of Austin and Donovan. Austin died in 2006. Donovan died in 2015. She's going to be sharing your stories and how she survived Mother's Day, how she survived the first Mother's Day, how she survived the second Mother's Day, and how she continues, to honor her children, her love, and her heart during Mother's Day. That's next week. Also, I'm going to be talking about her book that's coming out. And because her book ended up coming out before mine, which comes out on the 29th, I'm going to be talking about that a lot the next few days. I may push my book back a week or two just so that I can honor her and make her feel very special. She's my baby sister that I was at her house last night and told her I was the boss of her. She didn't like that. But here's the deal. That's the way it is sometimes, especially when you're 10 years older. I love you all. You are all very special to me. I see you. And I know the 11th is going to be hard. But hard doesn't mean undoable. It means that we got to come up with a plan to move through it. Look for the notes. I haven't finished them yet, but I'm going to post them under this live in the Facebook group. It's also going to be the questions for the brain dump and the 20 ideas of things that you can do for Mother's Day to change up your Mother's Day. It's going to be in there. And if you, I will see you all again on Tuesday in the live on Tuesday. I'll be live Tuesday at 8:30. All right, friends. I love you. Have a great day. Have a great Sunday. Have fun. And I'll see you all soon.